This is Gene.
Hi, Jean.
Hi, Jean.
Hi, Dick.
Hi.
Hi, Barbara.
How are you?
Hi, Barbara.
Yes.
Okay, good.
And then I see Vicky and Don are
Yeah.
on.
I'm here. Greetings to everyone.
Hello.
Don was, I can't hear him. Oh, he
Yeah.
thought he was.
Sorry.
Heather Johnson, you want her unmuted or?
So she can't hear me now?
She can hear us,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
Unmuted, yeah. I don't know if she- So we still, Don, for some reason is, did you ever talk to him on it? There he is. Did he,
Yeah,
was he on at first?
I have not.
It shows that he's on. I just don't hear him at all.
I know, that's. Thank you for changing.
No worries.
Well,
Jean, you had one more chance.
Right.
I'll save it then.
Let me go.
Dick, do you know if John was going to join us too?
I don't know. I never heard
Okay.
back from the office if they got him involved. I said he's the liaison, so he should be.
Right.
But who was here?
Yes.
Yeah, trying to find a phone number for Don. I mean, he called in and he was on, he's listed as being on there, but for some reason we can't talk to him. Okay, well, we're still trying here. I guess I don't think.
Find that number.
I think John just came on. John, is that you?
Voicemail.
Hello, sir.
I'm here.
Good.
How you doing?
We're Dick, Barb, John are here, and then Vicky and Jean are on, and we have a couple other folks, and then we're waiting to get Don. Technical difficulties.
Who's that? Technical. I don't know, I can't reach Don. As I say, he called in, he's listed as being
Yeah.
interested. I don't know what the list is.
Gus is here now, too.
Well, I think she's still trying to get him, but,
We do have Gus with us now.
Okay.
Hi, Gus.
Hi, I'm here.
you just can't hear him.
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Well, we're still trying to reach, I don't know what, try to, hopefully Dawn will call, I don't know what to do, but anyway, the going up, and then especially on the inside of the turn, the first turn at the bottom of the hill,
Mhm.
to get more visibility. What do you think about, I'll just mention it to Travis, and he can go up and we get one guy from each town to do it or something.
Yep. Dick, do
Yeah.
you want to reach out to Pat, or do you want me to?
No, I can do that. I'll talk
All
to
right.
Pat.
And how they want
Yeah.
to do it. Okay, well, that was simple. Now, I guess I don't know what, I guess we just go ahead and we'll have to,
There's someone logged in with an, it just says iPad, and I'm not sure who that is. And then Gus, I'm guessing your number ends in 4765. You have Jean, so I'm not sure who else is on an iPad that's logged in.
I'm on an iPad.
I have you though, and then
Yeah.
there's someone else. So okay. Well,
Asked to unmute, but they're not unmuting, so I'm not sure who it is.
yeah. Okay.
well, I guess we can just discuss something without Dawn, and I don't know.
Use his wife's phone to get in the meeting, but he wasn't very
Yeah,
confident.
he went down and he called in and he was on, I think he's on, just,
It does show that he's connected, but we're not, oh, wait, we have an image.
She's coming here.
I see Dawn.
I see Don.
Everyone?
Dawn?
Yep.
Dawn? Are you there, Dawn?
Yes, I am.
All righty.
Oh, okay. Okay, we'll proceed. I guess the first thing on the agenda was the discussion on stickers. So, I don't know if, and you got Vicki, what I would like to do, and then Vicki can explain what.
Well, I guess it starts with a problem. I guess more than anything else is that people up there who are not locals and don't know how the place operates are causing issues, almost causing head-on accidents, going up the wrong way, not knowing how to recycle. It takes a lot of time and effort from the people who work there to teach them how to recycle. And then if they, which is more often, and that's obviously they have no best interest to recycle. They don't live here, even though they be requested to by the owners of the condos and places they're staying at. But really, they have no skin in the game. And once they leave town, they really don't care if their trash is recycled or not. And I think it's kind of hard to put it on the owner and to cancel their sticker when, this person could arbitrarily decide he doesn't want to recycle, and then there's an issue in itself. But, that's kind of the problem I have up there, is that the fact that the people who are up there probably shouldn't be up there, and they're not recycling when they are up there.
But how do you correct that problem from the homeowner's point of view?
Well, I think the people who are renting, just like anybody who stays at a hotel, the owner is responsible for getting rid of the trash. At some point of view, I just can't imagine them not taking the trash with them. I've never heard of a place where you had to go dump your own trash. I've stayed in many places in my lifetime, and never have I been requested to go to the town dump to dump trash. It's always been the owner's responsibility to take care of the trash, and they have the know-how, the means, and if they have to hire a contractor to do it, then they have to hire a contractor to do it. But I don't think these Airbnbers should be up there.
Yes.
I agree with Don and John as to the source of the problem, and it's people for whatever reason not recycling, whether they don't have any motivation to do so. But I do believe it's the homeowner's responsibility, especially if that homeowner is making an income off of renting out. And for me, I think a solution would be they're treated like everybody else, and if someone doesn't recycle, the homeowner gets a letter. I think what would be the wording in the letter, just like we let everyone else know you didn't recycle, please do so. Maybe you weren't informed, but we could maybe add a paragraph. Please be aware, if you are renting your place out, you are still responsible. If it happens again, you may lose privileges. I agree that with John, it is the homeowner's responsibility, but I don't necessarily agree that that means if you're renting out, I think people who don't follow recycling, regardless of whether they're a full-time resident or a visitor, needs to be treated the same way, and it remains the homeowner's responsibility. We issue the stickers to the property taxpayer, and that's the person who's responsible to see that recycling happens, and that's the person who will lose privileges if they don't follow through.
I agree with them. It's going to be a hard thing to enforce, but I think if we do let the owners know and that it is going to be enforced, that would help.
Can I pose an idea that I've been thinking about and working a little bit with some of the short-term rental committee that we have? Do you think it would be worth it to have a different color owners so that they have a sticker that is whoever's responsible for it, whether it be a cleaning service, a management company or whatever, or if it's even a rental that they use for 12 residents of a house and everybody has a different month that they come up or whatever, it's a different color. So we're immediately identifying someone that's a non-resident, and that we know if they're not recycling properly or whatever. I guess we're given a little bit more of a heads up since operation runs. The second thing though is, we've had a couple of recent complaints from people that are residents and are just not able or willing to follow the rules too. And that's a separate issue because I think they just need to have warnings like we've done in the past. But when it comes to the non-residents, I'm wondering if it's worth it to do a separate sticker that we issue with their short-term rental registration that makes us aware that they're a different type of.
Well, the only problem is we're not registering short-term rentals in Bartlett, so there's no opportunity.
Yeah, so then you have
Now,
a different
I said right
system for
along.
Bartlett and a different system for
I-
Jackson, yeah.
Well, if we do, we do. I don't think that's the end of the world. It may be a little more confusing, but if we can't get together and agree on what we want to do, the end result is that you have a system and we have a system, and it'll be a little confusing maybe. But
Well, I think that because Jackson has a way of now identifying short-term rentals, they have a pathway to make that happen in a way that Bartlett can't. So I don't see how having Jackson having a short-term rental sticker would negatively impact anybody. But I'm not the one up there working, so I would like to hear from Don if he feels like that would add another layer of enforcement. And they're already, you know,
I think that it adds work for the people at the transfer station to look at the stickers and be watching for the short-term renters. I agree with John that the owner should be responsible for trash. They're making the money on the rent, and they can just figure that expense into it, whether they have a cleaning service or a hauler take the trash in on Mondays or whatever. You know, I just think we have to be careful about laying more responsibility for this on the people that are trying to run the transfer station.
so what do you do with a regular rental person, someone that rents their condo or chalet for the wintertime? You tell them so you're telling the short-term rental people they can't use the transfer station. That's about a month or 6 months, and they rent, or even the year-round rentals, and they have tenants in their place. You're going to tell them they can't use it. I think that's a problem. I mean, I guess as much as I agree with it, it's a problem. I'm not sure it's as big a problem as we're making it, but I don't know. But certainly someone that owns a piece of property, and at least in Ballard, has got a right, I think, to use the transfer station. And we can set up the rules where we want, but you can't just tell them no. I don't think maybe we can do that, but I don't think we should. I don't know.
I think that still falls on the owner's responsibility. If they rent out their place for 6 months and they still own the property, then you're never, you know, John and Don aren't going to know who's the owner of the property. It's their job to educate the person that's there on how to use the transfer station for 6 months. I mean, that's a different scenario. And the same as if somebody's renting a house here for an entire year, you know, year after year, they are transfer station, but it still falls on the owner of the house's ultimate responsibility.
Well, I agree with that, and that's why I think we set up the rules that they have to recycle, and if they don't, they can't use it. I don't have a problem with taking the use away from someone that's not following the rules. But I just think you need to start out with the idea that they will follow the rules, and
What's the
I don't know.
is it not following the directions of, or is it like improper recycling and driving all over the place?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
all of the above.
Yeah.
We have,
and again, it is a small percentage of people, but it has suddenly burst into a lot more than what it was, especially since, you know, the summer particularly. I mean, this has been particularly who you know aren't familiar with the process, and I think, you know, I said I don't know anywhere you go where you have to take out your own trash when you go to visit places. I wouldn't want my business. If I had guests come visit me, I'd say, when you go, take your trash to the dump, okay? You know, I just don't think that's something that's customary. You know, even in restaurants and other inns and things like that. I think the owner is responsible for it. If they hire a company to clean the place, they can have the same company take the trash out, and then they could dump it. We'll give them a hauler's permit or something like that, and and we'll check their trash. There'll be a limited amount of people now. We don't have, all consolidated by 2 or 3 companies that, will do this, and then we can kick them out if they don't recycle.
Yeah,
I mean, on my visits to the transfer station, what I'm noticing, in addition to all of that, is a certain attitude. And that's, and we're all aware of that through the summer and now early fall. There's suddenly this certain attitude of visitors that is not positive and friendly for some of them, and it's probably a minority, but they certainly stick out. So I feel like what Don and the guys up there deal with not only is trying to enforce a recycling, but a very argumentative batch of visitors who offer a negative tone. And I'd like to suggest that hopefully that sort of thing is somewhat after we're on the other side of this pandemic. But we can't predict that at all. My one concern is, especially in dealing with trying to get people to do the right thing and wear masks, the more rules we put out there is also giving people more opportunity to purposely disobey the rules. In working with adolescents, I never feel like more rules, encouraging people to follow the existing rules tends to be a better solution than punishing or adding on more rules. I don't know if that's the answer in this situation or not. I do know that John and I have tried to come up with different scenarios. We've met with Don, and it just really does seem like any solution we come up with adds another whole layer of potential problems. Unless we're willing to hire someone just in charge of enforcement up there, I'm not sure more rules is the route to go. And I'm only speaking for myself, I'm not speaking for the board.
We do have some local people that don't recycle. I get the things, Dawn sends them down, and we get the names and then send them a letter, and Jackson, we send them up to you and the Jackson people. And so, I mean, there are local people that don't rent them.
But those are easier to manage because we see them all the time. The renters see one day and they're gone.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, we can take care of the locals a little easier than we can take care of the people who have no vested interest in recycling at all.
I understand that, but that's why I get back to saying we tell the owner they can't come, any of his people. I don't have a problem with that, but to me that works. Anything?
no, I agree with you on that too. I think the fewer amount of people that are responsible for coming up there and doing it right, you're just going to limit the abusers.
So, does anyone have an idea they want to put forward right now, or just mull this over and you, Jackson, come up with some thoughts and we'll come up with some more pleasure?
I think maybe some more conversations are needed, I guess, with between the boards.
Okay. And maybe we'll see that it slows down now a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true too.
But it'll probably be back up in the wintertime. Maybe the one thing we could task them with, it wouldn't be a whole lot more, and I don't want them to talk to every single car that comes up, through sort of keep track of what they consider the Airbnb people when they show up. And I'm not asking them to count everyone, but if they could get just a rough idea, or are they getting 2 a weekend or 10 or something, without costing them time that they should be doing something else. But when it's possible, can they just keep track of, so we get an idea on how big of a problem is this, I guess. Is that something that's doable, Don?
Yep.
And I think, the other side of it too is that I do agree with you, Gene, that, it probably is going to be lesser now that we're getting into, after fall, but it certainly will pick up again when the winter comes.
Right.
I think we have to do at our application in town, and I'll get with Julie and look at that. Because when someone comes in to get a sticker for the transfer station, an owner of the property, they are responsible for their home regardless of whether it's a rental property or a residence that they live in, or, whatever. So maybe we can reword that as well. And then when we rewrite version 2 of our short-term rental conditional use permit, we can accent that again.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, that's good. And Don, if you could just sort of, as I said, I'm not asking you or the crew to stop every car and ask them, but if you know, so we have an idea, okay?
Yep.
You may only find half of them, I don't know, but at least we'd have some idea how many of the short-term people are. Okay, all right. I guess that's it for that one. The next one was, the contract. I don't know if we knew it need to go into non-public. I don't know. I guess
This
not.
is the,
You've got the letter up there. Do you think we should go?
I'm
We've got
not
the
sure
letter from,
what this is. Next on the agenda is discussing the metal pile. Is that what you're talking about?
yeah, it's the letter we wrote up an agreement, I guess, or a letter. Talked to Dawn and we wrote it, and then it's up to Jackson and they were gonna discuss it, and so that's where it is now. And I don't know if, obviously I want to discuss it, but I don't know if it should be a non-public session or not.
Well, if we don't talk money,
Probably
I
not.
think we can talk.
Okay, so you've got, what were your thoughts on the letter? Now, obviously Rogers has this concern, and I went up to see Dawn, and that's what started the letter was, and Dawn is, there's just a general philosophical disagreement between Roger and Dawn, and Dawn is maintaining that, and I don't mean that, I agree with Dawn. I'm not saying it's not right. He says he's just doing the minimum amount to keep the road on. Roger says that Dawn is doing more than necessary to keep the stuff from him, and so therein lies the problem, and that's why I didn't know. That letter, I don't know, is it solved Roger's problems, but I think it at least outlined what I felt was what our position should be on the issue. So I don't know, did you have any thoughts on the letter, or?
Mind discussing changing to a new hauler for all the metal, and would that affect that contract if we did do something like that?
Well, no, I mean, I don't know whether they want it, whether they'd want everything, or if they know some things are taken out. I assume they'd still haul it for what's left, I'm guessing. Don, is that true?
Yep.
Okay.
They'd still, right?
Yes, they would. There's a lot of EPA and DES regulations on the metal pile and how they want it to be. And the haulers right now would like to see it that way. And I'm trying to make it that way for them. But nobody is trying to make anything. I kind of think that the other hauler that is interested in hauling it wants to buy the containers separated with the light metal, aluminum, and the brass and the copper. And they want to go that way and then just pay the town for what they would be picking up.
with just trying to deal with this situation as best we can.
Yeah, I don't have any answer for that, I guess.
Well, do you have any thoughts on, do you have changes to that letter, or is it okay to send it the way it is?
There's a
No,
lot
it's fine the way it is.
DES regulations and how they want it to be, and the hall. See, I didn't see a letter.
That was Dawn. Can you summarize the letter, Jean?
Well, I can't because it's up at Jackson.
Okay.
I don't,
I don't have
Don,
it in
it's
front
what
of me.
I came up and I talked to you about it up there, what you had done, and then I drafted the letter, and then I sent it to Jackson, and maybe Mary can get it, I don't know.
Okay.
But then I checked with Jackson, and I was told it was up there, and they were waiting to discuss it, I guess, at this meeting. Or maybe it was just,
Not among ourselves yet, I don't think.
have any of you seen the letter?
I have.
Oh, okay. Well, so Dick, and you haven't seen it?
No,
or-
I haven't seen the letter. But that could be just my fault for
I don't know,
Yeah.
not looking for it.
It's unfortunate because it sounds like it, I think there has to be some mutual respect here of whose job it is to take care of the metal pile, and
Right.
the fact that we have a contract to bring someone in to take care of things in the metal pile, that has to be, that side of it has to be respectful of the property that he's on. That's my opinion.
right. And that's why I think this letter, was my attempt at just trying to lay the ground rules for,
One separate.
Don, if you're trying to talk, I think you're breaking up a little bit.
With the light metal, aluminum.
Don, we're not able to hear you clearly now. If you were on a computer, you can go.
Copper, and they want to go that way and then just pay the town for what they would be picking up.
Don, we couldn't hear any of that. Sorry. Did you hear that, Don? That we couldn't hear anything?
Okay, I think part of this is that Rickers would provide containers that would separate the metal. They would provide the containers and they would pay us for weight. So it's an alternative to what we're doing now, but it might be one that we should seriously look at.
Well, so can Jackson take a look at what the proposed, I call it a letter, it was actually a contract we were gonna sign. Could you take a look at that? It's just one page, not too complicated. Now, do you want me to read it?
Sure.
Sure.
It is understood the Ballard Jackson Transfer Station must operate under the guidelines of the state of New Hampshire and any laws, rules, or regulations promulgated by the state and/or the towns of Ballard and Jackson. Must be kept metal pile between the hours of 10 a.m. and 12 noon on days that the transfer station is open. 2, the facility operator or his designee will only push the metal pile when access is needed for the roadway. It will make every effort to push the metal to the bottom of the pile. After levy has been to the site, metal may be pushed to the top of the pile if necessary. Labby can only dispose of his own materials, e.g. hazardous waste, recyclables, household trash, recyclables, construction debris, in the normal manner of any other resident, unless display a dump sticker and is subject to the same charges as the general public for those items that have a fee. And then there's a place for Dawn and Jackson and Bartlett and Roger to all sign it. So that's simply what it says. Now, if you guys look it over and make any changes you think, I don't know if that does anything, but at least it lays out what the rules are. And I think you're, Dawn, I don't want to speak. Dawn? I guess not. Dawn? I will get this up to him.
Just wanted to tell you how much I am.
What's that?
Somebody has.
I'll take a copy of what I just read. I'll get it to Don so he can review it for his comments, and if Jackson could look at it for their comments, and whatever we want to change or something we can change if we need to, and then at least we'll start there if that's okay.
I think that sounds good.
Fine with me.
Okay? Okay. I can't get Don to, I guess he can't even hear now, or if he can, he can't respond, so. But I will get him a copy of it, and then you guys take a look. I don't have any, you have anything else to discuss at the moment?
I cannot think of anything.
So just to summarize, you guys are gonna talk over the sticker situation and
Mm-hmm.
see what you can come up with, and then we'll talk again at some point in a couple weeks or something. And I'll try to do better on schedule.
Okay.
Good luck with that, right? Yeah.
And just so you know, they keep changing my granddaughter's field hockey schedule. So.
Family first.
She's senior and has a few games left, and I'm just.
So I've been chatting on the side here with Heather Johnson, who is a Jackson resident that's on the call. Would it be okay if she just spoke to us very quickly about her concerns as a Jackson property owner and short-term rentals as well?
No.
Yeah, Heather, can you unmute?
Thank you. Hi, John. I'm a neighbor of John's up there, and I do short-term renters, and it hasn't been a problem with garbage or recycling for 7 years. My cleaning people and garbage people have helped me out for all this time. It was only when COVID hit this spring that it became a problem, because my normal garbage person was not going to go pawing through whatever and separate the 9 things out at the Jackson dump. Okay, so when I came into that issue, I looked up on the Jackson Town website about how, and I made this whole notebook about how the garbage and recycling protocol is starting now, in March. And I had 3 options for my renters, and it's spelled out on their leases and all their information. They can either leave their garbage only in time for pickup by my neighbor, my garbage person. And then they take their own recycling home on that first option. Second option is they take all their own separated garbage and recycling and separate out all their own recycling on their own with a copy of the dump sticker from the Jackson, my personal home Jackson dump sticker. Or their third option was a problem until one day, just about a week ago, I had a renter show up who had separated everything out apparently. He was waiting for the dump to open on Monday, and he was turned away because he had a copy of the dump sticker, not an original. So I was just wondering, what's the scoop? And I want to do everything right. I'm not going to send up problem people. Hopefully they know which way to drive up there, and they can read signs and know which, is a glass and a cardboard and this and that. Else to do. If you have any good suggestions, one of my neighbors suggested maybe we rent a dumpster altogether and use that, but that's not good for the environment. I don't like the idea of a bunch of bottles and cans and garbage all going off to some landfill. So I'm trying to be conscious of the environment as well.
Okay, if I could speak on the sticker issue, I think that at our next select meeting, the idea of a color sticker, I think that every property should have a sticker, not a copy of your sticker from your home. If it's another location, I think they're going to need a sticker there. Anyway, it's something for us to talk about, and I'm glad that you have brought it up, because it's something that, it's going to take a while to smooth out all the rough spots of this.
I think that's a good idea. I mean, if you think about it, most everybody that does short-term rentals has a general idea of how many stickers they need. Maybe they just buy a certain amount of stickers for the year for their home, and they're a different color. And that, once they use up their, amount that they purchased or whatever, it is what it is. But it's a way that they could have a sticker on their car. They got them bringing a sticker down to the dump and then bringing it back to the house. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's a good point.
So
For the
recycle.
record, I do not support copying stickers. Then we might as well just throw away the idea of stickers, because then, then why even have stickers if we're just simply making copies of stickers? I feel like there needs to be an actual
One or the other,
regardless of the color, for someone to be able to use the transfer station. And I feel the sticker.
Right. I think the stickers
ahead.
have to be real.
Yeah.
And they maybe we have short-term stickers for short-term renters, or one time. Well, the three of us will work that out, or at least discuss it in that forum, because that might be a way to do it. Say, okay, you get a book of stickers if you're a short-term renter, a piece, or we're not trying to make a profit, but we're not trying to do it for nothing. And then that renter can go on a Sunday afternoon with their stuff, with a sticker that's one-time use, and leave their garbage and drive away. They don't have to, as was pointed out, they don't have to drive back to the residence to turn in the sticker. It is a valid point, but I do think that they have to be some form of a real sticker.
Hey, Dick, I love that idea. I'll tell you, I think that's a great idea. The only problem I have, or only question I have for our guest here is, if we don't do this and we continue with the same system, what is plan B for you when you get your sticker pulled because your Airbnbs don't recycle?
I really strongly feel that the local resident who lives here year round should not be subsidizing the profit people are making from short-term rentals. Short-term rentals should be allowed to use the transfer station, but not at the jeopardy of everybody else whose taxes are also supporting it. So again, I don't support copies. And Heather, that puts your use of the transferring the rules. You're the one who's gonna, who potentially could lose your sticker. Short-term renters are making a profit off of their renters, and that should not be subsidized by the people who live here year-round.
Thank you.
So,
I guess that maybe, like I said, a question for the short-term renter owners is, do they have a plan B when their sticker gets pulled, if it does get pulled? I can see a lot of stickers being pulled personally.
but I feel like she's definitely given it some forethought. So when the three of us talk amongst, ourselves at the next select meeting, I'd like to have those examples of 3 options, saying maybe 1 and 2 are great and number 3 doesn't work so well or whatever. But I think that gives us something good to go on. And Heather, I'd also love to either get the verbiage from your lease or your agreement too, because I think that that could be something either we can put into the wording of our short-term rental conditional use permit or our transfer that you fill out to get your sticker. So, I think there are a lot of good ideas there. It's not fail-safe, but I think Heather's putting herself at risk by having short-term renters and making sure that they use the transfer station properly.
It sounds to me that Heather's doing a really good job of educating her renters, and I feel like if every short-term rental owner did the same thing that Heather did, we wouldn't have a problem. I think Heather's doing the right thing and trying to make sure that the people who are renting there know that with Heather becomes the copy of the sticker instead of the actual sticker. And I think that is solvable from what you guys have been talking about.
Yeah, sounds like that's asked and answered, and
Question that I had, and thank you. I feel like I am trying to do the right thing, and honestly, I haven't had any problems for 7 years. It's only really been since COVID, and you got to understand, people don't want to paw through other people's stuff. That's what it boils down to. Most of my people, since COVID started, they all just take their recycling home, and whether I take their garbage down or they take their garbage home, it doesn't matter on that part. But it has to do with the recycling.
If Heather supplies that information to Jackson, is it okay if you send it down to us?
For a fee. No, I'm just kidding, of course.
Well, I don't know if you have enough room on a piece of paper, but I have it, I can tell you. They sign their life away when they sign my short rental lease.
That's good though. Again, I think you're doing the right thing in educating your renters. And I think that also if your sticker were to get pulled because someone is disobedient or just disrespectful, you're certainly not going to have them back at your rental again. So
I don't have people like that. I don't even allow people like that at my house, so that won't happen.
So
Okay.
Good.
Right. Sorry to take so much time.
No, good information.
Don,
Good information.
that's what we hear. Don, back on.
Barbara, how do I reach you after this?
If you want to just text, I'll text you.
You're gonna get a check coming up. Well, you're getting 4 or 5 checks is not the usual, but there's one reimbursing Dawn for $100 for a top, and I wrote a note, and I think it's plastics. He had to get out of one of the containers so they could move it to its permanent place. And they said they wouldn't take it if they were wet, or they wouldn't pay us anything. So he said he had a used top that would be suitable if we wanted to pay $100. I okayed it, because it was, I guess, an emergency kind of, and I didn't have time to call everybody. So I just want you to know I did that. And if it's not all right, I'll reimburse you. On here so he could explain it, but that's what he explained to me. So, anything else?
I'm good.
Nope.
No.
I don't have
Nothing
anything else.
Nope.
Ask Vicki, anybody? No? Okay, well, if that's it, we'll we'll adjourn this meeting
Very
and
good.
move on.
I'll let you know what I
Thank you.
find out from Heather, and thanks very much.
Everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.